By the way, I know I've talked about sangria before, but here's the thing. I understand sangria isn't the best drink to have like on this show, but I don't have whiskey. I don't have anything to mix drinks with. I have a bottle of limoncello in there for some reason. I just don't like the taste of it straight up. It's just not my thing. So I like sangria. This is what I'm going to drink. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Just JP. My name is Justin, and today I am getting back into David Bowie. I'm doing a lot of revisits on my own show that we started on JPMP, and I just wanted to further explore here on my own a little bit. Today I'm going to get into the song Ashes to Ashes. This is apparently a follow-up to the song Space Oddity by David Bowie. Space Oddity I thought was a great song in every sense. Storytelling, the vocals, the actual music itself. I thought the whole thing was honestly like really well done and a peak example of what you can do when you combine music with storytelling, and they work perfectly together. But if you want the full thoughts, go check that out on JPMP. Now, here, a lot of people commented on that song saying that this was a follow-up to that song, and it was revealed that Major Tom, the main character in Space Oddity, is actually a drug addict. So, that was kind of a twist. How do you actually pronounce his name? M. Night Shyamalan? It sounded better. We don't forgive him for messing up Airbender. No, we don't. Of course, let me know what you guys think of the song, what you think of the set, the sound, everything. I'm open to suggestions and ideas, and I kind of just spat on the mic, but you guys can't feel that because you're not in the splash zone. To be in the splash zone, you gotta be in the JP zone. Anyways, join me on Twitter, join me in the comments down below for discussion. Let me know what you think of the song, continue your suggestions as well, and let's get into it. This is Ashes to Ashes by David Bowie. Hopefully there's no ad. Immediately.
Do you remember a girl that's been in such another song? I heard a rumor from ground control. Oh no, don't say that's true. They got a message from the action man. I'm happy, hope you're happy too. I've loved all I needed love, saw the details far away. The shaking of nothing is killing, just pictures of chapters and self-assist. And I ain't got no money and I ain't got no hands. So but I'm hoping to kick with the planet's glowing, ashes to ash and fun to fuck it. We know Major Tom's a junkie, strung out in heaven's high, hitting that all-time low.
Very interesting.
Time and again I tell myself I'll stay clean tonight, but the little green wheels are following me. Oh no, not again. I'm stuck with a valuable friend. I'm happy, hope you're happy too. One flash of light, like no smoking pistol. I've never done good things. I've never done bad things. I never did anything out of the blue. Whoa. Wanna needs to break the ice. Wanna come down right now. Ashes to ashes, fun to fuck it. We know Major Tom's a junkie, strung out in heaven's high, hitting an all-time road.
Drumming?
I always said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. I always said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom.
such an interesting tonal shift from no, let's not, no. It's such an interesting tonal shift, the change from Space Oddity to this, first of all, to Ashes and Ashes. Immediately much more funk driven. So you got that going. It's a lot more straightforward in its story, in the music, than Space Oddity was. Space Oddity was a build up to this crescendo, and then it even on this mellow but beautiful spacey kind of, I don't want to say melodrama, but spacey kind of tone that was going on. Since everyone filled me in on the other comments in Space Oddity, I know that, like I mentioned, this is when Major Tom, the character, is revealed to be a drug addict, and it's very interesting the way that it's built upon in this story. First of all, I love how it opens up. Do you remember a guy that's been in such an early song? Because Space Oddity was released in 1969, and this song came out in 1980, so 11 years later. So I know that David Bowie has this huge career, and his career spans a lot of different styles, based on his life and his experiences and what he wanted to do, obviously. So it's very interesting just from that first line, because it's very fourth wall breaking. Because even though I don't know David Bowie's music, I really don't. I don't know what he's released in that 11-year span between those two songs, but I would imagine that his genres and I would imagine that his music evolved in that 11 years, so that it was totally different, which makes sense because this is much different from Space Oddity. It also makes sense in relation to the song. Major Tom is not this astronaut, this explorer, this hero in a sense that got lost in space. No, he was just a drug addict the whole time. So the music is a lot more grounded now, instead of so hopeful and dreamy. Even though it ended in catastrophe, we see that from this song. It really ended in catastrophe. I think that's really interesting, this story, that he's able to relate this music and the journey of Major Tom to himself. I could be 100% wrong in this, and this is why I like to make my own conclusions and my own thoughts, because the facts may prove that I'm wrong, but it's my interpretation. I know that at this time, from what I read here, that Bowie was experiencing some drug problems. So it makes sense that he was writing this way. Could it be that in Space Oddity, which was, it looks like one of his earlier songs, could it be that he was feeling like Major Tom, an explorer, a pioneer in his genre and in what he was doing with music and his creativity, but then when the drugs hit later on in his career, he felt like Major Tom, like his dreams, they dissolved before him, and all that was left was just a junkie, as maybe he saw himself when he was going through his addiction and that's those problems. It could be. I may be totally wrong. It's just what I'm reading, kind of based on the story I'm getting here. I like the song, I guess, more so from the point of view, having heard Space Oddity and knowing what Bowie had to go through in relation to his drug problems. So I think in that regard, as a purely artistic song, it hits all the marks. It's perfect, once again, in that sense. I would have to give it a second listen to actually tell you if I would listen to this song again or not, honestly. Because I was so caught up in like the message of it, and I was so interested in how this story concludes, that I was just kind of swept with that, and the music was just kind of a second thought to me. But musically, it was great. I love when the drums pick up a little bit going into the end. Like I said, it's very funk-driven. The whole thing is very good. And another thing, actually, now that I think about it, his vocals. In the Space Oddity video, I had mentioned that it seemed that his vocals could almost like change personalities. Like he could be different people in a play just with his voice. And here in Ashes to Ashes, I heard another side of David Bowie's vocals that I hadn't heard in Space Oddity. It was very light, very floaty, but very direct at the same time. And I thought that was very interesting once again. And then one thing I did forget to bring out is that in the lyrics, in the first verse, on the second part of the first verse, you start to hear other voices and whispers coming in, and it kind of takes away that fantasy of Major Tom and Space Oddity and brings in the reality like, no, it's not so good. So huge kudos for that, because that's just an awesome, once again, piece of storytelling. Melting music and storytelling together so that they both make sense. Thank you guys for recommending it over there. Sorry that I stole it and brought it over here, but honestly, I just wanted to hear more of David Bowie. So let me know what you guys think of the song. Let me know what you think of everything, the channel. I've said this all before. Please join me on Twitter. Please join me down in the comments below for discussion. Let me know what you think of Sangria. This is Real Sangria. That's the brand. It's called like Real Sangria. I really like it. I'll see you later.